This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, right. So now the visualization of the pipelines, right? So if I take any pipeline here, I don't see any pipelines here. Wait a minute. So I will take a sample pipeline here. Apply, save, fill now. So Maven M3 is not recognized. So I think he has given some other name. So manage Jenkins. The tools, global tool configuration. So here the Maven name given as a Maven. So take the name and go to the job again. Configuration. So change the name as Maven. Apply, save, bill now. This is the visualization of the pipeline, right? So we can see in a stages wise. So whatever the stages we are going to define in our Jenkins pipeline, those will be shown in the blocks wise, right? So now this visualization can be changed. Then also we can create the pipelines from that point instead of going to the Jenkins pipeline, something like that. So there is a plugin. So the plugin we are going to call as a Blue Ocean plugin. So it is going to give more options in the pipeline area. So go to the Jenkins, manage Jenkins, and go to the plugins section. There is a manage plugins. Then search for in the available part, search for Blue Ocean plugin. Common API, Web API, Blue Ocean, pipeline editor. Let's search for the plugin name, Blue Ocean plugin. Blue Ocean, the plugin name is. should be blue ocean, something like that we need to have. Blue ocean. Yes, this is the one. So blue ocean, select and download now and install. So they are the dependencies, the supported plugins for your blue ocean pipeline. So it's going to give more options, like the visualization is going to change. You can create the jobs, something like that. So download successfully, then restart. Go to the dashboard, Jenkins. Now we can observe here there is an option open blue ocean. So once the plugin is installed, you can see there is an option called open blue ocean. So click on this option so that it will be routed to a different screen on the Jenkins side, blue ocean screen. Okay, it is having some work graphics and also maintenance is very slow. It is taking time. In the meantime, we'll discuss about the other concept. Then we'll come back here. Until then, it is load. It is going to load. So here in our Jenkins, we have one more option. Manage Jenkins. If I go to the Manage Jenkins, so here you can see there is an option called Script. Manage Scripts. Manage Script Console. Right. So here we are having a Script Console. Nothing but you can write a code here on the Jenkins. Then you can manage the Jenkins with the help of the code. So manage the Jenkins means if you want to change any configuration settings, anything on the application side, the Jenkins application side, if you want to manage, instead of going with the options, straight away you can handle through the script console. So just required to write a code with the help of the code managing the Jenkins. Right. So we'll come back here. We'll come back. So let me finish this one. So now here, if you want to write, if you want to handle this one, we require the Groovy script. So now the script console is going to support the Groovy script. So now with the help of the Groovy script, you can handle our Jenkins, right? So now there is an option actually. It's not like it is required, it is mandatory for us. No. The Jenkins is providing an option like if you are good with the Groovy scripts, everything can be handled through the script console. You don't need to go for any option, something like that. We are not good with the Groovy script. That's why we are using the options. That is fine. It is not a problem. It is not an issue for us also. They are providing an option here. So now here, if I go to my manage Jenkins, suppose if I go to the configure system, here if I go here, system admin email address is a property. Suppose as an example telling you guys, this property as of now is not filled. So now I want to provide the admin email address here, right? So what the one way is straight away you can go to this option, click on here and provide it. That is the one option. The second one is we can use the script console and you can handle this thing also. You can manage, handle means we can manage with the script console. So now if I go to the manage Jenkins, then from here I'm going to choose script console. Right. As an example, I have provided the script, a sample script here. This is completely Groovy stuff. We require to have the Groovy knowledge, then otherwise you cannot handle this one. So this is also I have taken from some other part. I did not implemented it. So now here, this is like the models, like the modules, imported modules, which I am going to use for to manage my system admin address function. So this is the modules they have downloading, and this is the property I'm going to change. Finally, I'm going to save it, my configuration. So now here, my system admin email address, I'm going to change from with the Shankar, something like that. So now once the code is ready, scroll down, you can see in a button called run here. So click on the run so that on fly, the script is going to execute here with the help of the script console and it will show you the output here at the end, result section. So now here, it is not a kind of query or something. Simply I want to change the configuration. That is the reason you cannot see result here. You can observe the update on that particular property. So now let me go to the manage Jenkins. Here I have given my name and some email address. Manage Jenkins, and here go to the manage config system, and if I go to my system admin property, here I can see whatever I have passed it here, right? So whatever the information I have passed it here, the same I can observe here. The other ways handling the Jenkins, right? So instead of using the GUI mode, the options, we can handle through the Groovy scripts also with the help of script console. Ad hoc tasks, anything can handle it here. So now here, if you want to see more examples on this, I have provided a repository here, guys. So the Jenkins script, open this repository, you will find number of examples on the Groovy part. So let me open this repository. So these are all the Groovy scripts, Jenkins shared SSH agent, LDAP Groovy, like find all groups folder, like some example the guy is provided here. So we can find so many things here. You can find, suppose count executors. So this is a script to count number of executors. This is a script. So now here I'm going to take this script, copy. This is completely Groovy stuff. Go to our script console again, Jenkins, manage Jenkins, script console, paste the script, scroll down, run. See here, the result of the script is, if you have any masters and slaves, those will be displayed here. As of now, no slave is configured. That is the reason you can see only the master and the executor total are 2 here. You can see the total 2. Any slaves information, any crowds information, like anything else, if you going to, it is going to show the information here. As of now, nothing is configured. That is the reason 0, none. So only a master I am having. On the master, 2 executors. Right, to see this information, right? So I don't require to go to each and every slave, how many executors are there. So simply I can execute the script so that I can get the results. This is the script. This is an example here. This is completely Groovy stuff. Right. So likewise, if we are good with the Groovy, then yes, we can do anything on the Jenkins side. So these are the some examples given, guys. So if you are want to see, just take the scripts and try to uh, execute it. So see here somewhere you can see in installing the pipeline plugins also. You can install the plugins also with the help of the script. Install available plugins in Groovy. Just you want to export, just you can export it. Right, so here this is the plugin installation with the help of Groovy. Just wherever you want to install the plugin name has to provide somewhere. Just go through it and try to observe it. But as I said, it is not mandatory for us to understand the script console, to understand the Groovy also. Even I too don't know the complete Groovy part. So whenever I require, I am going to Google it. I am going to take the code block and I'm going to use it. So even I am not also expert on the Groovy side. So which is not required for us actually. So whenever required, we are going to take it. Yes, but yes, from the Jenkins side, there's an option called script console. You can use something like this. Right. So now go back to our previous one, blue ocean pipelines. So as I said, the blue ocean pipeline will be a somewhat a different representation of our dashboard of the Jenkins. So something like this. You can see pipelines. These are our jobs. Right. So if I click on the sample pipeline, right. So now here the stages will be displayed something like this. Right, who triggered at what time. If you want to run it again, simply need to click on run here. The branches information you can find here. Branches are unsupported because we don't have any pipelines here as of now. That is the reason is not giving an option. Pull request options you can see here. Pipeline, if you want to create a new pipelines, go to the pipelines from the plugin. If you want to create a new pipelines, you can go to the new pipelines, click on new pipelines. Then it's going to ask you where the repositories exist. Git. Now here, connecting to the Git repository URL. Suppose if I take my GitHub, code, copy, create a pipeline. See here, it is created a pipeline for my repository, and here it is going to scan all the branches like our multi-branch pipeline. So here my branches, and the branches finish Jenkins files are found. It is going to trigger those pipelines. Now see here, now this repository on the branches, that is the reason it's trying to load the branches. If any pull requests are pending, the pull request will open here. As I don't know, we don't have any open pull requests. Only for the open, not for the closes. Still the branch, see the branches. Right now I'm having. And the activity. Right, so here the execution details. So if I want to see the each job, click on this one. So now it's going to show us the more details, the logs and other stuff. Like a different visualization with the help of this blue ocean stuff. So you can check some more deeper fashion, some changes, who did what kind of changes, the commits, test cases, artifacts. Like you can see something like that. You want to configure, you want to modify, you can modify it. Click on the edit. Straight away it's going to connect to, and connecting to Git, and it will show a pipeline or Jenkins pipeline. Again, this is not like it is mandatory to use. No, it's not like the mandatory one. Like people, some projects they are going to use this blue ocean pipeline for the better visualization and the easiest options. But usually we will go with our normal pipeline. See here, this is the, again, if I configure it, it will be routed to our job setup only, just job configuration. Right. So if I want to go back, to my Jenkins dashboard, so click on the Jenkins, no, this one. So go to the classic, sorry, not this one, this one. So go to the classic, so that it will be switched to our previous stage. So that the classic stage. This is the open blue ocean stage. Like that, we can switch our Jenkins dashboards from the classic stage to blue ocean pipeline stage. So from that, here you can create the pipelines, you can manage the pipelines, you can visualize more better way. I can say better way. This is one thing from the plugin side, one blue ocean plugin side. And the next one here is working with the CLI. So right, so here whatever the configurations, whatever the jobs we are going to create on the Jenkins side, with the GA we are doing it. So I will go to the Jenkins, right? So configurations from the manage Jenkins, creation of jobs, anything with the GA. Now we have a second option called script console. Just now we have seen, with the help of the Groovy, you can manage anything with the help of the script console by using the Groovy language. Now the third way, the other way we have is CLI, command line interface. So that can be used. So that can be used to manage the Jenkins. So now here, go to the manage Jenkins, and go to the tools and actions section. Here we can see script console and Jenkins CLI. So go to the Jenkins CLI. Here you can see, right? So I don't know about the CLI, command line interface. I don't know about the command line interface, command lines. So now here, how can how can I run this command line so that whatever the requirement I have, I'm going to achieve it, right? So for that, we don't need to bother about the learning of CLI command line interfaces. This Jenkins CLI is going to provide all the options for us. So now here you can see all the options, what we can run with the CLI. Right. So now here, if you want to execute any command, any CLI, Suppose I want to see the list of jobs. So now here I will go and I'll see list of the jobs. So now here I'm going to click on this list of the job. Click on this option. Now it's going to show you how to run this command from the CLI to get the list of the jobs. So this is the option, right? So now here the thing is, when you want to execute this CLI, the command line interface, there we require the jar file. So now we require the jar file to run this command line interface of the Jenkins. Right. So now simply what you can do here, click on the CLI link, the jar link, so that it is going to download into your machine. Then you can run the commands. Right. So let me see any CLI jar files are available in my download section. For the previous ones, I'm going to delete it. Nothing. So now here, I'm going to click on this link. Now the CLI.jar file is going to download. In the meantime, this IP is not the correct one. Right now the IP is 23. Here it is showing a 53 means when the Jenkins is configured, installed first time, the IP is captured, right? So in our previous class also we have seen this one. So go to the config system, and here you can see under the admin section, this is the one actually is representing, right? So here I am going to take my current mission IP, paste it, apply, save. Now manage Jenkins and go to the CLI part. Now take the command. Now we can observe it is updated 18.191.174.23.80.80. So now when you want to execute this command, we have to take this one, copy, and wherever the jar file is located, go to that location. So right now my jar file, the CLI.jar file is downloading into my downloads folder. So if I go to my downloads folder, I can see the jar file just now downloaded. Right, so now from here, I am going to open the command line cmd and try to run the command. So now here my command is list jobs. If everything goes fine, it is going to give you the list. Otherwise, it will throw an error. Anonymous is missing overall read permissions. Right. So here the guy who is trying to connect to the Jenkins server, he is not having the proper access. So that is the reason we are not able to see the output. So right. So here let's go to the Jenkins, manage Jenkins. I think is not installed the role-based strategy plugin or something. So let me take the project-based matrix. Anonymous users, I'm going to give read access. Then because the user is not created here, so I'm going to take the anonymous user, apply, and save. Now try to run the command again. Right. So now here the error is gone. The error is gone means the command is successfully executed. I require the list of the jobs. Right. So now here in the project-based matrix, we need to provide the access on the each job wise, right? So project-based means we need to set up the we need to provide the access on the job base. Right. So now let me go to this job, go to the configuration, and here you can see enable project-based security, right? Then here I need to provide the access to the anonymous users. Right. So here I am going to select, suppose as an example, I select the all the options for the anonymous users, apply and save. So now for this job, I have given the access to the anonymous user. So now let me go here and run the command again. See, you can see the game of life job access. I have got it. I can list the job. Right. So now here, this is not about the giving the permission. This is about the running the CLI command line interface. Right. So now when you want to run any command interface, command lines in the Jenkins, there the jar we are going to use the jar is nothing but the Jenkins CLI jar. It is required. Then -s is nothing but your host where the Jenkins is running. Then to run the commands, WebSocket it is going to use as a default. Then our commands. So like that, we can use the CLI to manage the Jenkins instead of using the GUI also. But again, the thing that is you need to know the command lines, right? So that command lines information we can get it from the CLI option. This is one thing to manage the Jenkins, either GUI or the script console or the CLI, three options. Right. So any CL, any command we don't require to understand. Simply whatever you want to say, simply click on the option so that the command is going to show you how to run this one. What exactly it is. So right here, so this is about our Jenkins, and these are the options which is available. So the script console, the CLI is not part of our entry also, or not part of our real time also, but safer side I have covered it. And one more thing here, visualization again. Right. So basically, visualization means the job status. So basically, what will happen here? We are going to have n number of jobs like this. So now here, this is the job got failed. Then this job will be notified to the team. Correct. So now, whatever the team belongs to this job, the corresponding team email will be triggered to the corresponding team. Right? That's what we are going to do. So now here the people like so right in our email box. In our email, we are going to receive n number of emails daily. So there is a chance of we are not able to we are not going to focus on our Jenkins emails. Right. So there then what will happen? This will be something like that because no one is taking care of fixing the job. Well, at the end of the day, we are not able to see the progress on this particular module because no one has like they are completely working on the development part. They are not focusing on this thing. So when I at the end of the day, when I want to check the status of the application, this is going to lag, right? Because of the no one has taken any action on to fix this issue. This is not our job is to check the thing, check the jobs if the job is failed, and take the console output and see the errors and intimate to the corresponding team. That is not our job. Our job is to set up the process and send a notification to the team if something went wrong, or success, or failed, whatever it may be. Then the team's job is to check the status of the jobs when they push the code. Then they have to check the status of the jobs. Then based on that, they have to validate the code and the environments. Otherwise, if something is failed with the job, then they have to fix it. If the case is from the developer side, if the job is failed without our configuration, like the DevOps configuration, the server configuration, or some XYZ configuration, then we need to fix it. Like that, the both the teams has to monitor the jobs, and the corresponding team has to taken care of if something happened to the jobs. Right. So now here there is a chance like yes, it will be the common practice, like people are not going to focus on the Jenkins emails, the jobs emails. Then then the what we can do, like to avoid this kind of issues, what we can do. So for that, the Jenkins is providing a monitor option so that your jobs can be monitored. Right. So now here, let me show you how to monitor the job. Then we'll see how to take an actions on the jobs. Like so now here, to monitor the jobs, you can see a plus symbols here. New view. So click on the plus symbol. Build monitor view is the plugin name. So it's not open. It's taking time. Okay, let me open the plugin section. Go to the Jenkins. Go to the manage Jenkins and go to the manage plugins. Go to the available section. Search for build monitor view. This is the plugin. So select it and download. Restart. Now if you can observe here, a job is displaying here, even though I did not log in. Correct? Why? Because I have given the access for the anonymous user. Any user, right? Any user can, if the other user which is not having the access, they can access this job because I have given the anonymous user access to this job. So now go to the login and log in with my user. Now click on this plus symbol, new view. It is going to show you the views, build monitor view, list my view. So here I'm going to select the build monitor view. This is the plugin I have created. Then click on OK, some name, monitor. Okay. Then the settings, right? What the properties. So now here, which jobs you want to monitor? Suppose I want to monitor all the jobs, all the job sectors. Then click on apply and save. So now a monitoring dashboard will be displayed. So our jobs can be monitored with the help of build monitor view plugin. Something like this. So now here you can observe here, these are all the jobs, and here you can see the failures of these jobs, purpose of this job will fail, this job will fail, and this well, these jobs are in running process. See the progress bar. Right. So now here, this is the monitor plugin. So now this is connected to TV screen, a screen. So now this screen is placed in our area, like where the team is placed in our office, on the wall or on the pillar, like the location, some location. We are going to place these monitors. Then in the monitor, we are going to display our the monitor plugin, so that now our managers, like wherever the team is sitting, right, from that location, everyone can see our regular jobs, our daily jobs progress, something like that. So now when something wrong, immediately, right, even though you did not focus on your emails, simply it's going to display here, something like that. So then, like your manager or lead, they will ask you to take care, what happened to the job, take care and fix it, like that. So a kind of monitoring from the job side with the help of build monitor view plugin. Something like this. Four bills have played, failed, back in the green, back in the green, continuously two bills have failed. And so if you want to see the details, click on the particular job so that it will be routed to the details. You can change the view format also. You can change the text style, you can change the columns, like that, like that. So this is the monitor plugin, so that you can closely monitor our job status actually with the help of this plugin. Right. So this is about our Jenkins case, some useful options sections here, and the other parts which we have covered in our previous classes. Right. So again, only one thing which we need to focus on the Jenkins side is, by default, if you want to go back, simply click on this Jenkins icon. It will be go back to your previous stage, classic stage. So only one thing which we need to understand from the Jenkins side is, if you are not able to find anything as part of your requirement, the options which you are not able to find in the Jenkins side, try to search for the plugin. That's it. So everything in the form of plugin in our Jenkins, anything can be handled with the plugins. The only thing is, by default, if the plugin is not set up or not configured or not installed on the Jenkins side, try to see what is the plugin for your requirement and download it and use it. That's what you need to focus. That's it. That is what the main Jenkins here is. Right. So now I will go to the next tool called Ansible. Right. So now here, the complete, now the Jenkins is the one right now we have covered, but this Jenkins will be travel through the complete course. So we are going to take with the Jenkins only, but so the main components already have covered. So now we're going forward, what are the options we are going to use? We are going to aware it because we already have covered it. Right. So now here the next tool in our DevOps process is Ansible. Ansible is nothing but our infrastructure management tool. Right. So infrastructure is nothing but our environments, like the development environment, quality assurance environment, our Jenkins server, SonarQube server, production servers, anything, any server which you want to maintain. So there we are going to use the configuration tools or the infrastructure management tools called Chef, Ansible, or Puppet. Right. So now here there are a couple of questions. One is already we have the shell scripts or the bash scripts. With the help of the scripts, I can manage my infrastructure. We are not covered the shell scripts, guys. Once this Ansible is done, we'll see one project by taking a sample code of the Java application, and we'll try to build and deploy to the servers, our web servers, with the help of these tools. Then we'll cover the shell scripts. Okay, then after that I will cover the shell scripts. So now here we have the scripting called shell scripts or bash scripts to manage the infrastructure. Then why should I go for this Ansible, Chef, or Puppet? Our shell scripts are not going to maintain the state. So now here, if I have built my infrastructure with some properties, some configurations. So now here, when I want to apply the new changes or something, so the now it's not going to compare with the states. It means previous state is something like that, and current state I want to have something like that. So just apply the only the changes. If I maintain the state, that is the advantage. Otherwise, what will happen? From the scratch, again it's going to build it. If I am not going to maintain the state, time taken process, maintenance, load on the system, everything has to be handled. So here our configuration tools are going to maintain the state. That is what the biggest advantage of the configuration tools. So now here, if I want to set up 1,000 servers, hardly to take minutes only. But when come to the shell, it is going to take hours because it is not going to maintain the state, the installation and everything. Right. So now here, our configuration tools are having an advantage called state maintenance, state management. Then it is going to take only the new or updates or the patches, whatever you want to apply on the servers or the software. Only those will be applied, not with the from the complete scratch. Right. So then in out of all the three tools like the Chef, Ansible or Puppet, Ansible become more popular than the Chef or the Puppet. Why? Why the Ansible become more popular? So let me go with some example here. Right. So now if I talk about Chef or Puppet, so how the Chef or Puppet are going to manage the infrastructure? So now here the Chef will be having a server called Chef server. So then whatever the servers you want to manage it. Suppose these are my development environment servers, and these are my QA servers, quality assurance, and these are my staging servers. As an example, guys. Right, so now these servers I want to manage it. Right. So earlier days, operation team will be there. Those guys responsible to is to manage the servers, all the environments. So now the DevOps has taken care of the server management also. So no separate team is going to manage this. So how we are going to manage effectively, right? So the thing is, once you set up the servers and everything, you should not be failing some other reasons. That maybe there is a chance of failure, but it's not like completely continuously failing. You have to build in a fashion that it is a more secure and more effective way the infrastructure is built so that it can handle majority of the issues. Very critical and critical issues only it is going to fail like that. So now how we are going to handle this means with the help of the code only. The code is a better approach if you to handle anything. It's application or it's infrastructure, whatever it may be. Right. So now here we are going to utilize the configuration tools like Chef and Ansible and Puppet So to manage the infrastructure with the help of the code. So now here what I'm going to do, whatever the servers right now I am having, which I want to handle with the chef. So now what I will do, from the chef server, I am going to establish the communication. If I consider this is a development environment, if I consider this is a QA environment, and if I consider this as a staging environment, these are all the servers. These are all the servers, bunch of servers. So now here, my development environment and my QA environment and my staging environment are connected with the chef server. Or means the servers. Finally, whatever the servers I am having in my environment, those are connected with my chef server. So how we are going to connect? This chef will be having an agent called chef client. Now the chef client is the agent which is going to install on every server. Whatever the server you want to manage with the chef, a client called chef client. So now here there are three servers are there in my dev. Means you need to install the chef client on all the three servers. There are three servers in my QA. Again, you need to install the chef client agent. This is an agent. It has to be installed on all the servers. Like that, this chef client in all the servers has to be installed. The agent has to be installed. Then your server means the chef server is going to monitor all the servers of the environments with the help of this agent. What is going to monitor? What is going to take in action? Right. So here, suppose I want to install Tomcat. I want to install Tomcat on my dev environment, on my dev servers. I have three dev servers here. On the three dev servers, I want to install the Tomcat. Right. So now here the Tomcat is nothing but the installation of the Tomcat will be written by the DevOps folks, the developers here. The developer means the chef developers, nothing but the DevOps folks. So now the DevOps people are going to write the Tomcat. Here in the chef, we are going to call as a cookbooks. Now a cookbook will be written, the DevOps team, and the cookbook will be pushed from my workstation to the chef server. So now in the chef server, the cookbook will be placed. Tomcat. Right. So now my requirement is I want to install the Tomcat on the dev environments, all the three servers. So now the chef client, the agent will go and connect to the chef server on an interval basis. On an interval basis. Right. So now here every 30 minutes, every 30 minutes, this chef client will go and connect to the chef server and it will fetch for the content, the cookbooks. Right. So now here it will, now here already the some state will be there, means the servers are installed with some other software and some XYZ. So now it is going to compare the current the servers against the chef server cookbooks, whatever here I am having. So now here if the cookbook is already present in the servers, it is not going to take any action. Suppose the Tomcat is not available here, not installed. Now here the Tomcat is available on the chef server. Now the chef client, what the chef client will do, it will go and connect to the chef server and search for the new things, any new changes or any new cookbooks are came into here. Yes, Tomcat is came here, which is not installed on the dev. So now what will happen? It will take the Tomcat and it will install on all the servers. It is a one server or three servers or 3,000 servers. We don't bother about the number of servers. Simply, we need to tell, as a DevOps case, we need to tell that this is the cookbook I have written. Take the cookbook and deploy into the this dev environment. So that is what we are going to call as here run list. So run list is a kind of component. So now here in the run list, this run list will be once the chef client is installed, this run list will be placed in all the servers. So now in the server, I am going to tell I need a Tomcat. I need a Tomcat. I need a Tomcat. That's it. So now the chef client will take the Tomcat and install it. So now here, this is the chef story. Right here, the thing is when you want to handle your infrastructure with the help of cookbooks. The cookbook has to be developed with the developers, DevOps guys, and the cookbooks has to be pushed to the Chef server. Then the Chef client will be taken care of uploading, nothing but the updating the servers with the cookbooks will be taken care by Chef client based on the time interval. Right. So now here the agent is required in all the servers. Whatever the servers I am having, like the dev servers, QA servers, production servers, in each and every server, I require to have the Chef client agent. Agent is mandatory. If it is Chef or the Puppet, and this mechanism we are going to call as a pull mechanism. So now the servers are going to pull the code, whatever the cookbooks are available, it is going to pull it so to deploy into the servers. So that's why this mechanism we are going to call as a pull mechanism. And the agent is mandatory in all the servers. The Chef client agent is mandatory. So now when it comes to the Ansible, here in the Ansible, we are not going to have any separate servers like Chef server. We are going to have the Ansible, we are going to call as a Ansible control mission. So now this Ansible control mission will be holding the playbooks like Apache, Tomcat, MySQL, something like that. Right. So now here cookbooks we are going to call in the Chef. In the Ansible we are going to call the playbooks. Nothing but a form of the code. A code we are going to write here with the help of the Ruby and here with the help of the YAML. So Ruby is the language which we are going to use to create the cookbooks. So in our Ansible, we are going to use the YAML language to write the playbooks. So now here in the Ansible control mission, we are going to write all the playbooks. So then whatever the servers I want to use for this deployment of the playbook, simply I am going to connect those servers. Suppose like this is the dev environment and this is like the QA environment. Suppose if I take an example. So then your Ansible control mission will be connected to the servers and it is going to deploy the playbooks on the servers. So now here the one is we don't require any separate agents like Chef or the Puppet. Like Chef client is an agent here. So the Ansible does not require any agent. It is an agentless tool. And also, as I said, in the Chef, the code will be pulled up here. The servers are going to pull the code. In our Ansible, we are going to push it from the control mission. We are going to push the playbooks into the servers. So it is going to work on the pull mechanism. It is going to work on the push mechanism. The Chef and Puppet are going to work on the pull mechanism. The Ansible is going to work on the push mechanism. So right. So now here we don't require any separate servers like Chef server. We don't require any agents here. Simply we require a control mission. The control mission is nothing but your workstation only. Whatever the mission you are going to use, that we can use as a workstation control mission here. Or you can take a separate server. The server can be configured as a control mission so that any DevOps folks wants to write the playbooks, wants to deploy the code into the servers, they can use the server, the other server. Or else you can use our own laptops or our own server missions for the control mission. So right, so you don't require any separate servers like Chef server. No setup, no other setup is required here. So now here it is going to work on the pull mechanism, it is going to work on the push mechanism. Chef is required the Chef server and the agent called Chef client. In the Ansible, we don't require any separate clients and servers. Simply we are going to use the Ansible control mission and we are going to deploy the code into the servers with the help of push mechanism. Right. So this is what the basic difference between the Chef or Puppet. Chef or Puppet will be the same mechanism. Both are same mechanism. And Ansible architecture. They will ask usually, what is the difference between the Ansible and the Chef or Puppet? So this difference we need to tell. One is the agentless and second one is going to work on the push mechanism. The other are agent is required and is going to work on the pull mechanism. So these 2 points we need to tell when the people are trying to ask you to tell me the difference between the Chef, Puppet or Ansible. Right. So now here again the The Ansible is going to has a support of Python. In the background, the Ansible is implemented on the top of Python. So the Python support will be there for the Ansible so that you can handle anything with the help of Python. N number of modules are available on the Ansible side. Even you can connect with the cloud also with the help of Ansible. You can manage the cloud also from the with the help of Ansible by using these modules. Right. So now let's see here how to set up the Ansible and how to start working with the Ansible. So today we'll see how to install the Ansible and how to start working with the Ansible. Then in our tomorrow class we'll try to focus on the Ansible. Right. So now here how
Shankar.
the, yes Ram.
Uh, yeah, here in Chef, I could see some run list, and based on 30 minutes time window, it is
Mm,
checking for
mm,
any
mm,
files, right? So, but here in
mm.
Ansible, like how it will be handled. So, like whenever any playbook comes into a control machine, so like will it directly copied into the local machines or local servers? So, how it is going
Ah,
to
so
handle?
so these playbooks are cookbooks by handling by ourselves only. DevOps folks only we're going to handle by no other persons actually. So then once you are ready with the playbook here, we are going to push it. We are the person are going to push it once your playbook is ready. It's not like developers are going to give you to the playbooks. You are the person only going to write the playbooks, and you are the person only going to deploy the playbooks.
Okay, so there is no time window, so it's a manual process,
No
right?
time. Manual process. Right. If you want to set up, you can schedule it by using the cron jobs. I will. Right. So that is also possible. But anyway, that I will show you the deployment process how we are going to handle with the Ansible. But yes, as of now, it is not like any time interval basis actually. It's like our
Oh,
stuff.
okay,
Okay.
okay, got it.
Then again, one more point here. The communication between your Ansible control machine or the chef server between the servers and your chef server or Ansible control machine will be the SSH mechanism only. You're going to use the SSH mechanism only. Either is a chef or Ansible. The communication between the servers to your control machine or the servers to your chef server, SSH only is going to use. All the tools, all the configuration management tools.
I
So now
think
here,
in the real time, Shankar, like we are not going to use any ID and password mechanism, right? Like
no,
we are
no,
going to use SSH, right? Even for
SSH
Git
only. Yes,
also.
anything you are going to use the SSH only, not the user. But yes, for the Git now, so to connect it to the Jenkins, multiple ways. One is right, you can use the username and password here to
Okay.
connect the Git from the Jenkins, or you can use the SSH. That is dependent on the project style actually. But usually the server to server communication. Here the Git is not going to maintain by you. Git is going to maintain by some other person. But here all the servers, whatever the servers we are going to discuss here, will be maintained by ourselves only. These servers. When the servers to server communication is required, then yes, SSH only we are going to use. Not,
Okay.
not with the not with the username and password. Right. So now let's go and see the Ansible setup and how to start working with the Ansible. Okay, so let me open the Ansible documentation. Right. So now here you can observe here the architecture. Very simple, very easiest when compared with the Chef and Puppet and Ansible. Ansible is the dead easiest one. Understanding, learning, writing, anything from the Ansible is very easy. So simply as I said, we are going to have the Ansible control machine. It can be a separate server or your workstation. On the machine, we are going to write playbooks. We are going to paste the playbooks on the machine. Then these playbooks are going to deploy into the your environments like the dev environment, QA, or whatever the servers. Right. So now here, as I said, these guys are going to use the SSH mechanism, the communication between the control machine to the servers. Right. So how this control machine will comes to know, I need to connect this host one, or host to host A, that will be taken care by inventory. So inventory is a file in your Ansible, which is going to have all the servers information so that this control machine will be connected to the servers with the help of the information which is going to provide by the inventory. I will show you what is an inventory here. Just a simple architecture here. Now let's try to set up the Ansible. Right. So now to set up the Ansible, right. So we required a user, right, a best practice Ansible user. Then here, the authentication, first time authentication, I'm going to open the password. Then I'm going to connect the SSH mechanism. Then I'm going to create the keys, copy the same message process, we are going to do. Then finally, these are the only steps the installation, 4 to 5 steps. Right. So let's go and try to set up here. I'm going to take a fresh server here. No prerequisites here for the Ansible. You don't require to set up any Java or something. So we don't need anything. So select, just create a mission. You can use your existing mission also. Even launch. So I don't have the key here. Ansible AWS key something. Download. Launch. So this one I'm going to consider as Ansible control mission. Right, connect the server. Okay. So now here I'm going to create a user add Ansible, password for the user, Ansible, Ansible, Ansible. Password is created. Right. So now here, once the user is created ready, I want to have the private key and public key for the user. Right. So that the my servers. Now this is I'm going to treat as a control mission. This one. Now this guy is trying to connect to our servers. Right. So with the help of SSH. So that is the reason. Right. Whatever the user have created on the control mission, for the user I'm going to create the private key and public key. Right. So now let's switch to the user. SU Ansible. I am with the Ansible user, correct? So now let's create a private key. The same SSH process, no difference. SSH key gen. Enter, 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 enter. So automatically SSH directory will be created, and we can see two files are going to create. One is the private key and the second one is the public key. So now this is the user creation and the key generation on the Ansible control mission. The part is done. Now, whatever the servers I want to connect from my Ansible control machine, I am going to use this means I need to have the public keys on the servers. Right. So now here, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take one more mission here. Suppose as an example, let me take this Jenkins. Otherwise, he's going to do the practice. So let me create a separate server. Otherwise, I'm going to terminate it once this practice is done. So select review and launch. So here I'm going to give it as suppose my web server. Let's connect to the web server. Connect, copy, and this is both are same only. So what I will do, I will disconnect from here and connect to the this is my slave mission. Slave means my server, my web server. So usually the Ansible control machine is going to use the Ansible user to connect. So that is the reason I'm going to create a user here. User add Ansible. Password for him. Then here, right, initially the communication between the one server to the server before the SSH, the password is the one we are going to use, right? So here I'm going to use SSH copy ID command to copy the public key. So there the communication is required. That is the reason I'm going to open the property password authentication. Yes. So VI etc SSH SSHT, right? Our same steps only, no difference. Password. So here I'm going to change it as yes, and here I'm going to change it as a no. Then save it. Then I'm going to go to the sudoers file. So right, because this Ansible from right from the by using the Ansible, I'm going to use to install the softwares or to do the configurations, many things on the server side. So when I'm trying to perform these operations, the particular Ansible user required the admin privileges. Otherwise, it is going to throw permission denied errors. So that is the reason I'm going to add the Ansible user here as admin. Ansible, I'm going to give all the permissions. So now here the connection should be the SSH. So for that reason, I'm going to change this all as a no password. Done. So now save it, restart the SSH service, service, SSHD, restart. Right. So now from the control machine, copy the public key. Switch to the Ansible user. SSH, copy ID, Ansible is the user. Something will happen to this server. So I'm going to create the PPK. Just now I created the PPK. Let's try to connect with the putty. Open the putty and take the IP address. SSH authentication, browse PPK file. So not with the editor. So from the server side only we have the issue. It is not allowing us to. I think it is connected. 53. This is the only 53. Should I open it? This is working fine, but when it comes to the Ansible control mission,
Shankar, better to terminate that instance and create one more new instance in the AWS account. Anyway, it is taking long time, right?
That's what I'm checking. Why these factors always behave like that? Okay, that's better. Instead, okay, so now you want to log in. Somewhat faster now, yes. So yeah. So now SU Ansible, I switch to the Ansible user, then SSH Ansible @ and my server, my web server IP. So I am going to take the web server, and here my IP is the 56 one. As I said, you can take the private IP so that even though you restarted it, we are not going to face it. Okay, so before going to that, we need to copy the public key, right? So this is not the correct one. 56 here, then SSH copy ID is the command. Hyphen copy. Enter. Yes.
It seems to be Amazon instance also not supporting us.
It's not like that actually. Maybe my internet is very slow. So I'm creating one more machine here. Yes. I think seems it's working good. So the new mission. So now here I'm going to create a user add Ansible ESSWD Ansible. Right. So now I switch to the Ansible user. Create the private key and public key. So now this mission I'm going to treat as a control mission. SSH keygen done. So now here from that try to copy the key SSH copy ID Ansible and @ my web server IP address. Copy and go to the Ansible control mission and enter. Yes, password is Ansible. Right now you can see number of keys are added one. Right, so now here let's use the Ansible connectivity just for confirmation whether my server is able to reach or not. I switched into that new server. Right, so successful. Then come out, exit. Right, so now here my Ansible control mission is successfully communicating with my web server with the help of SSH. So once the SSH part is done, now install the Ansible. So now this is my control mission. So I am going to remove this one, which I don't require now. So now this becomes my control mission. So right on the control mission, we need to install the Ansible. So for the installation of the Ansible, right, until these steps are completed, now install the Ansible. So the package, the binaries we can get from this site, the Ansible binaries. So use the wget command to download it. So I will switch from the Ansible to root and wget. With the RPM is downloaded. Now extract the RPM, the low level package. RPMs are right. RPM-IVH is the command to extract the RPM packages. RPM, then -IVH is the option to extract the RPM packages, whatever the RPMs you have downloaded. So then enter. It is going to download the RPM package. EPL release is downloaded. Then install the Ansible. Once the package is downloaded, install the Ansible. Ansible is successfully installed. Then try to check the version just for the confirmation. Ansible --- version is the command to see the information about the Ansible. 2.9.0, 2.9.1.0, sorry, 1.0.1.10. So now here you can see the configuration file of the Ansible. You can find under the etc Ansible directory. Under that you can find this file. Any configurations you want to change it. Right. So let's go to this file. cd etc Ansible. Then here you can find configuration file here, a host file and a roles directory. Right. So open this file, ansible.cfg. There you can find many properties like our Jenkins etc sysconfig Jenkins. There how we are going to see all the properties of the Jenkins. Likewise, for the Ansible, you are going to see all the Ansible configuration properties, the main file. So now in that, what we are going to use here is, as of now, we are going to use the inventory file. Right. If you guys observe here in our Ansible architecture, we are going to see a inventory file along with the playbooks. We are going to see the inventory file. So this file is nothing but it is going to have all the servers communication information. The communication information of the servers will be placed in the inventory file, nothing but under the Ansible control mission. Right. So now here by default it is commented out inventory file. So remove the comment section. So now we are enabled the inventory file, nothing but the file name. You can observe here etc Ansible hosts is the file name. Right. So this hosts file we are going to call as a inventory file. So don't confuse. Inventory file is nothing but the host file. This is the one. Right. So when you want to use this host file, we need to uncomment the inventory file option in the configuration file. That's what I did here. So now I can use the host file. So how the host file will be looks like. So open the host file. Now you can see the server's information we are going to provide in the host file. Right. So now here, how we are going to provide either the host name, the domain name, something like that, or the IP addresses. If you don't have the domain names, use the IP address. As of now, right now we don't have any domain name specifically, then we are going to use the IP address. So now here you can use the individual server details by adding the entries like that one by one. Right. So when I say web servers means I will be having a bunch of servers, like 5 to 10 web servers I am going to have. When I want to install the Tomcat and all the 10 servers, there you don't need to enter one by one the entry like that. You can enter as a group like this. Now this is the group representation in the host file. Either you can add the servers individually by adding the entries like that one by one, or you can add the group also. This is the group syntax. So nothing but provide the group name. Under the group name, provide the servers information. Now your Ansible will treat all the servers as a web servers group. So when I want to perform the operations on all the servers, I don't need to give all the servers by one. Instead of, I can give the group name. So like that in the Ansible host file, in the inventory file, you can add the servers individually, right? Or you can add the servers on a group fashion. Anything is fine, right? So now this inventory file we are going to use to communicate your control mission to the servers, right? So that's what the Ansible host file. So now here, once the host file is ready, then start trying to communicate from your Ansible to the servers, right? So now here, the first thing, right? So the first thing is whatever the servers you want to communicate from the Ansible control mission, those servers information has to be provided inside the inventory file, nothing but the host file, right? So here what I'm going to do, vi hosts, I'm going to modify the host file. In under the host file, I am going to add my server details. Right, so here I am going to add as a group instead of individually. So I'm going to take the name of like web servers. Then here under the web servers, add the IP address. Right, so here what is the right? So this is my web server. So now I'm going to add this mission IP address here. So copy and paste it. So tomorrow I want to add one more server. Simply create a new line, add it. When you want to refer these two servers, you don't need to refer the servers wise. Simply can refer the group name. Group advantage. Right. So now here I have add my server details here in the inventory file, nothing but the host file. Then save it. Right. So now the inventory file is ready, so that your control mission can communicate with the servers, whatever you have right now. Right. So now how I'm going to communicate with my servers, right? So here we have given the permission, we have given the permission means we have established the communication between the servers to the user called Ansible, right? So the thing is, right now I am on the root, switch to the Ansible user, because the SSH communication is established between the servers is to the root, sorry, to the Ansible user, not the root, right? So now let's switch to the Ansible user, then try to run the Ansible commands. Right. So now here your Ansible can be managed in infrastructure with the help of CLI, command line mode, or with the help of the playbook. If there is a task, something like one line change, like a simple concept I want to do, like a installation or a modification. For that, I don't require to write a playbook. It's a simple one line change. One line I need to trigger it. So there I can use the modules. We are going to call them like the Ansible command line. When I want to perform multiple steps, multiple actions has to be performed, then better to go with the playbook, because if I am going to use the CLI, the same operation, if I want to perform on other server also, again I need to run the CLI again. No option. Again, if in some other server I want to perform it, again I need to run the command again. If I use the file, you don't need to run the commands again and again. Simply can execute the files. Advantage with that's what the templates, the files or templates, whatever it may be. They are going to have the code, whatever you want to run or whatever you want to execute it. Right. So now let's try to see here the module section. then slowly we'll move to the playbook section. Right. So now if you want to use the module section with the help of the CLI, so the syntax, how the syntax will be looks like. Right. So now the syntax will be the Ansible, then followed by the host or the group name. Host or the group name is nothing but if you are trying to execute this module on a single server or a bunch of servers, on a single server, bunch of servers. Right. So now as of now, I have only one server for the control machine. I have only one server. I have configured it. Nothing but the SSH mechanism established for the only one server. So when you want to work with the single server, right? When you want to sorry guys, when I want to communicate with the web server, I'm going to use the SSH mechanism. So the SSH mechanism as of now established between these two missions, control mission to the web server, right? So there now the communication with the Ansible, how I can do it here is either the group name or the host name. Right now in my situation, I can use the host name because only one server I am having. So tomorrow I have added two more servers. Now I want to communicate to all the three servers. Then you don't require to establish a separate SSH mechanism to the individual servers. SSH, Ansible, IP address, SSH, Ansible, IP. Now you don't require. Simply you are going to use the group name. Right. So now here I can use the host name individually or a group name so that bunch of servers on the bunch of servers I want to perform the action. Right. So what is the action you want to perform? What is what is the action you want to perform? Those actions, your Ansible, we are going to call as a modules. Right. As an example, I want to create a file that is a module to me in the Ansible. I want to create a directory that is a module in Ansible. I want to create a user, a module. Right. So advantage here is what is the advantage? You don't need to go for the configuration, properties, remembering all the stuff. Simply the modules are available, predefined code you can call as a functions usually. Predefined code is available. Utilize the predefined code, take the code and utilize it. Nothing but we are going to call here as a modules. Right. So now here you don't require to remember user add or something. Simply the module name will be there, user or something. Then you use the module and give the information, Shankar or some XYZ. Automatically your answer will be taken care of creation of user. Right. So we'll see the modules later, like, slowly. So now here, what is the action you want to perform? Nothing but the module. Now in the Ansible syntax, Ansible host or group means on which mission you want to perform the action, or a single mission or a bunch of missions. Then what is the action you want to perform? Nothing but the module, -m module. Then here the module name. Then here arguments. Right. So if I want to create a user, I'm going to use the module called user. Then arguments are nothing but the properties. Who is the user? Shankar I want to create. In the argument section, I'm going to pass the username. I want to create a file. I'm going to use the module name file. And then what is the file name I want to create? That is nothing but an argument here. The options of the commands, nothing but the here. You can call them as arguments. So now here, -u for the username, -hyphen become means, right? So who is the user is trying to perform these operations? Now the if the user is requires the administrative privileges, then -hyphen become is the option in the Ansible so that the user will get the administrative privileges like sudo. In Linux, sudo is the option. Here -hyphen become. Right. So now here I would like to see whether my control machine is able to reach my web server or not. Right. I want to install something into my web server. Nothing but I want to set up the Tomcat. So now here to before installing the Tomcat on the web server by using the Ansible, I want to see whether my Ansible control machine is able to communicating with the web server or not. For that, I am going to run the module here. Ansible, then host or group name. Right here, I have given my group name as a web servers. Then here, the module name, -m is nothing but the module, -m. Then the module name is ping. Just trying to ping my server. See, success. Right now, your Ansible is trying to reach the web server. Now I can say the successful it is able to reach and it get the message as a pong, ping pong. Ping means sending a request, pong means getting the response. Right, so now the web servers means in my inventory file, I have created a group called web servers. Under the web servers, I have added my web server IP. So now when I call the web server means it's going to call my web server IP address. Call them is connect. Then module is going to trigger ping. Right. So now it means I got the confirmation like my Ansible control mission is successfully reaching to my Ansible servers, the servers which are connected to the Ansible control mission. So now let's start performing the operations with the help of the modules or with the help of the playbooks or whatever it may be. Right. So today I'm going to stop it here. So tomorrow we'll see the other operations with the Ansible, then followed by the sections of the Ansible, the modules, and followed by the other things, whatever we have right now. Right, guys. So the Ansible is the pretty easiest one in our configuration management tool when compared to the Chef and Puppet. Easy syntax, easy modules, just to take and use it like that. We'll see anyway. Okay. So any doubts here until today? I mean to say, in the Ansible side.
Shankar, I have a doubts in Jenkins actually.
Okay, tell me, Ram.
Yeah, so like does Jenkins supports only a Java related code, and if I wanted to install any .NET or Big Data applications, so like for
Yes.
.NET we do have a Bamboo, right? And so like in such a way, so Jenkins only supports Java.
No, not
Suppose
like
if
that.
I want to install any Big Data application, so like even
Any,
Jenkins supports that.
yes, anything. That's what. So Jenkins does not have any limitations. Only the point which you guys need to remember. If you want to work with anything, just try to figure out the plugin. That's it. Jenkins will support anything. Only the thing is you require the correct plugin. So when I say
Great.
when I want to work with the .NET code, their MS build is the plugin. So now your duty is to take the MS build plugin and try to configure with the Jenkins
Okay.
for Jenkins. Then it will
And
show you. Yeah, yeah. Tell me, Tom.
yeah, I got a clear understanding. And in
Yes,
a CI/CD process, so like continuous integration and continuous delivery or
deployment.
deployment, right? So like there
Mm-hmm.
is a delivery, continuous delivery also there, right?
Mm.
Like what is the big difference between continuous delivery and continuous deployment?
So if you want to see the delivery and deployment, right, so deployment and delivery, nothing but both will be the same job. The job is nothing but once your code is ready in the CA part, it will be deployed into the next level of environments. Next level means your development environment, staging, quality assurance, user acceptance testing, production like that. So these are the environments the code will be deployed. Nothing but we are going to call this as a continuous deployment or continuous delivery. And this part we are going to call as a continuous integration. Right. So now when you are deploying the code into the environments, so here it will be reached. The process will be reached until the production, deploying the production. So there you will be having a manual check. So now we are not going to deploy the code into the production. Simply you are going to go until the stage, and you are going to stop there. So now here approval is required from the manager, the delivery manager or whoever it may be. Then only you are going to deploy the production. That's what the delivery here. In the deployment, you don't require any kind of separate manual approval. Automatical approval we are going to set up so that automatically it will be deployed into the production. That's what the content deployment.
So in the real-time environment, like what is the
This
best approach they are following?
this one we are going to follow. The
So
delivery
every time we need to get an approval from the manager, so then only we are going to deploy
production
that into production.
into the production. Yes. So usually, but the when you have the confidence on your process that you have a clean deployment, clean set of code, clean test cases, everything is clean, then only we'll go for this production deployment. Until unless we'll go for the delivery. That is based on the project, based on the configuration, based on the economies. not our configurations, from the architecture, based on the setup, how the code was built, how effectively you have tested the code, then blindly we can go for the deployment without any approvals. Otherwise, if you go blindly means it is a mess for us. That is the reason delivery will be used actually.
No. Okay. And in your real-time experience, did you get a chance to create any custom plugins in the Jenkins side?
No, no, I did not get that. That is not required because earlier days Jenkins have more than 3,000 or 300 something Jenkins plugins. But huge amount of plugins are there, which you don't require to set up anything specifically from our side. Almost everything you will get from the plugin side, right? So you don't require to specifically create a plugins. Just for community 1500 plus community plugins.
Oh,
Even
okay.
even in the Ansible also, forget about the Jenkins. Even in the Ansible also, whatever the defined modules it is going to provide us, we are going to use that. But sometimes we require to create our own modules from the Ansible side also. Sometimes, very rarely, because which is not going to available in Ansible. That is also not seen as of now because it's so available for us. Again, we have a alternative methods. Earlier days, we are not going to have separate tools to set up the things. So only the Jenkins means I need to go with the Jenkins. Now here I have an alternative ways. So which I am not going to able to get it from the Jenkins. Simply I'm going to use the other tool which I'm going to get it. Then I'm going to integrate the tool with the Jenkins. There I don't need to create a separate custom plugins or something like that.
Okay. And when we are doing Git installation from branching to dev server or from staging to staging servers will be there, right? So
Mm,
we'll be doing using a Jenkins, right? And so are we going to maintain any outage window for that?
okay, going to means
So letting the people know that we are going to install some kind of changes into our servers, in this period of time the particular server is not going to available. So that kind of outage thing that we
mm,
are going to
uh,
maintain.
maintenance. Maintenance. No. So actually, uh, if you are trying to do any operations, that will be done from the back end only. So now you're not going to impact. It is a dev QA AD. We are not going to bother about it because you will be having a bunch of servers. So one server you can bring it back and you can do the operations. So the other server will be up and running. It will be available for the team. So there are no issues. When it comes to production, yes, there the outage is required because the productions, right? If you're not having enough servers, now the load is coming there, you are going to see the issue. That is the reason Kubernetes and other tools are coming to picture. So they will take care of the maintenance and everything. You don't need to bother about it actually. But when it comes to physical servers, yes, if you want to do any kind of maintenance, you are required to have a downtime which you are using only one server. If you have the multiple servers, there you don't require any downtime. One server will be available for the people, and one server will go for the back means go for the upgradations. Then once it is done, you will be bring up the new like update server. Then you will go to take the other server like that. Like that
So the
only.
new changes will be copied into the other servers as well, like once that is
Yeah.
backed
So
up.
if suppose I have two servers here like this one and this one. So now here the Git is running with version 2.6 on both the servers. So now here I want to update the Git 2.7. So now here when you are upgrading the Git 2.7, obviously it will be down for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So then what you will do, you are not going to give the access to the people to the first server. Only this server will be accessible to the people. Now you will be connected to the server and upgrade 2.7. Once the job is done, you will be bring up and you will give the access to the people. Then you will be bring down this server and you will update 2.7 here. Then both will be updated without downtime means
Okay.
on the server side. So if it is a microservices that are container stuff, your Kubernetes will be taken care. You just simply need to send an instruction
Okay.
like that.
Because we do have multiple servers here, so that's a concept.
So if it is suppose it's only one server, now I don't have two Git servers. Example. Only one server. Yes, obviously we require a downtime for 5 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever the time frame. We are going to send a notification to the team. So this is the window. We are going to upgrade the server. We are going to take for the maintenance activity. We are going to perform the maintenance activity. Please plan accordingly. 1 day prayer or 2 days prayer, we are going to send a notification to the team that so and so day and so and so time we are going to bring down the system for the maintenance activity, like that.
Yeah.
If it is single one.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Shankar.
Okay. Okay, guys. Then see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock only. So sorry for the today. So due to some problem, I'm not able to connect by 10 o'clock. So tomorrow will be started sharp 10 o'clock. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Thank you, Shankar.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Shankar.